Luffy and Sabo were both charging ahead, extremely excited about going hunting. They both got a spear, even though none of them needed one. Koala and Nami, who were forced along, made sure to fall a few steps behind so they could talk, like they initially planned to do, but well, seeing as how Luffy always preferred to do things with everyone, they were left without other options. Why are they even that excited? I don't get it, Nami sighed while watching the two brothers happily chatting while on the lookout for some delicious beasts. Koala let a somehow nostalgic smile imprint on her face. Nami didn't know, as Luffy never talked about his past, but Sabo wouldn't shut up about their adventures as kids. How they used to steal food from prestigious restaurants in the town, how they defeated the tiger that no one was able to defeat, how they helped the old pirate who once challenged Roger build his ship and go out at sea once more, how they built their tree fort and how they were separated. That one last story Sabo only told once after he regained his memory. He said at that time that he thought that it must have been the hardest for Ace, as he would have ever cried or show grief in front of Luffy in order to protect him. She remembered him saying that he must have suffered a lot on his own so he could protect Luffy from staying locked inside again. This is what they always did when back on the island where they met, Koala spoke, catching Nami's attention. Sabo always tells me those stories when he has the time to the three of them were always together in the forest, fighting every beast they found. That's why Luffy and Sabo are so excited now, but there's a blank space now. She made a short pause here. Even she found it hard to talk about how those brothers' story. That's probably why we were forced along, she then continued. They tried to fill the gap by having a close person they really care about around. The orange-haired girl, as she had now stopped talking, looked at her new friend and gave her a kind, reassuring smile when seeing a tear roll down Nami's cheek. Nami could recall Usopp once telling her that, back on the island where she lived, Nojiko told them everything that happened when she was a kid, but Luffy wouldn't want to hear it. Even so, having no clue on the actual situation, he charged ahead with conviction and gave everything he had in the fight, all for her sake. She didn't know much about his past, either, but there were times like those when he needed her by his side, so she didn't think twice before making a few steps and reaching Luffy's side. Wiping away her tears, she smiled so bright as she spoke, I want to help hunting too. Let's do it together. Her so simple words brought so much light to Luffy's face, who really hoped from within his heart for his navigator to join him and his brother. He grinned widely and nodded as an almost unnoticeable blush appeared on his cheeks. Now give me that, Nami said while snatching the spear from Luffy's hands. You won't be needing it, anyway, she then smirked, making Luffy laugh. Koala, now left behind alone, watched Luffy's hand as it took Nami's and smiled. She didn't even know what was behind that smile of hers. Might have been happiness for the two, maybe a little sadness that she had no idea where came from. Maybe she was a little bit envious, or maybe she was just watching a distant love story that she wasn't part of. She had no role to play in it and that was all. She was like the narrator, watching, observing from afar while knowing everything about the characters. Carrot, carrot, carrot. What is it? Hancock asked as soon as the young woman entered her room, breathing heavily with shock imprinted on her face. Promoted stories. You'll also like Memories of the Grandeur, 5.4K 253, 1. Piece characters reacting, the amazing, hilarious, and tear-jerking moments from the story and their fandom, like edits, fan arts, ship, and more. The People Awak, One Piece. The Raptor Pirates soar 1.9K 27 Cerberus. D. Rex, once a young child in the East Blue. On an island where all he does was train and train, basically a martial art island. But his heart wasn't in it, he Luffy's jealousy 73.2k 1.5k pairings. Luffy x Nami. What if the infamous Mugiwara crew docked on an unknown island? What if Nami had forgot? Warm memories and brotherly bonds 498k 10.2 kin. The middle of some strange ruins, Luffy disappeared. As the rest of the Straw Hats try to find him, they end up traveling through his memories and are trapped in the Water Pillar. One Piece X Reader 4.9k 160 as the Strafuts sail across the sea in hopes of reaching Alabasta to stop a civil war. They come across an island. An island not found in any maps. In this island stand, rewriting, the Nakama from another world, 1.1k33 and quote, I just wanted to sleep, not get reincarnated into One Piece, end quote. YN awakens in a world he once thought was fiction. The world of One Piece. Reborn as a baby, Sanji's Siren Song 2404. What would happen to a siren in love with the cook of the Straw Hat Pirates? Will it be a love story or a grim fairy tale ending? I have only watched the live-action S. Yes, said the girl while saluting, trying to calm her racing heart down. There's a whole fleet of Navy ships approaching. This is bad. The raven-haired woman stood up and walked on the deck. Could they be after Luffy's ship? She then said to herself while watching in the distance the ships heading their way. If you'd allow it, Snake Princess. Margaret walked in front of her queen with conviction in her eyes. She knew that she couldn't falter for even a split second if she were to convince the person proudly standing in front of her to give up on the only one she ever fell for. It's alright, even when it comes to Luffy, our leader never showed a sign of irrationality. I should be able to convince her that if she not intending to hold back the Marines already. I'd like to give you my opinion, she then continued. A moment of silence from Hancock made the blonde girl understand that she could continue. The Marines were, most probably, able to target the Straw Hats because of us, seeing how your majesty is a warlord. That is true, as traveling with Luffy's crew will only bring us more trouble. I know that already. What's your proposition? I suggest we stay and try to hold back the Marines by every means possible and let the others escape using the coup burst. That is just what I was thinking about, Hancock approved while looking again at the Marine ships. Then, pinning her eyes on her underling, spoke, you are to go on their ship and give them a map and a log pose. Also, I want you to tell them this. Carrot, carrot, carrot. Every member of the Straw Hats was sitting around the dining table. None of them was saying a word and the tense atmosphere seemed suffocating. Someone suddenly barging in the kitchen made all of them look with hope towards the door. Margaret placed the map and log pose on the table with a big smile. Use the coup burst to get out of here before she changes her mind, she said with an encouraging expression. Are you serious? Chopper excitingly asked while jumping to hug the blonde girl close. Ah, Margaret Kwan, you truly bring light into my life. We're truly indebted to you all. It's alright. If it's for Luffy, we'd do anything. Oh, one more thing. Hancock-sama only had one request. She asks of you to give her a call the second you find Luffy. We will, Brooke said. There isn't really a way to thank you and your crew for what you have done for us. Please, even if it's not much, send our words of gratitude to your captain. Carrot, carrot, carrot. That's one down. Both Nami and Koala happily shouted while standing at the top of the huge, now dead animal. They were, surprisingly, really enjoying the beast hunting. Oi Sabo. They're ahead of us. We haven't caught one yet. Ha. You'll never catch up. Losers. Yeah, that's right. At the end of the day, we'll bring home a lot more food than you two. The orange-haired girls teased the two brothers who still couldn't believe how much they were into their playing. What's this? Sabo's sweat dropped while watching the two. Koala usually only stays locked in her office with her nose in work papers all day. Since when is she into this kind of stuff? I wonder about that myself, Luffy nodded. Nami doesn't do anything on the ship aside from sunbathing with Robin and drawing maps. I can't understand how things turned out this way. But well, he then laughed. I don't mind at all if anything. I'm happy she's finally playing with me. The same went for Sabo, of course. They might have been old enough now but they still had that silly, childish attitude. Well, Luffy, let us show them what we're made of, Shishishi. We're gonna win this. And so, before any of them could notice, that beast hunting that was supposed to let them spend some more time together, turned into a competition between the teams that formed without anyone saying a word. Carrot, carrot, carrot. I can't believe this actually worked for us, Usopp said while cheerfully running around on the deck with Chopper. The rest of the crew was there too, all of them smiling and watching in the direction where Hancock's ship was. They couldn't see them anymore. But still, to think Hancock would go that far to make sure that we get to rescue Luffy, it's unbelievable. I mean, she really thinks that those are the Marines. Which means she knows the risks of her being stripped of the title of warlord as she has been seen escorting the Straw Hats. It is true. I never thought she'd actually do something like this. But, knowing that Luffy had people like that taking care of him when we couldn't, it really is reassuring, Robin giggled. Well then, we should call those two and let them know we're heading their way, Sanji said while standing up. By tomorrow morning, we should be at the Revolutionary Army's base. Carrot, carrot, carrot. The ring of the baby Den Den Mushi Sabo carried with him made the small group stop. The score was still 1-0 for the girls, but there was no way Luffy and Sabo would fall back. Oh, it might be your crew. Aw man, I really hope everything turned out as planned. Yo, guys, Chopper shouted as soon as Sabo answered the call. It went just as Nami said. Everything. We're heading your way right now. He then excitingly said. Of course it did. There was no way I'd be wrong. Nami smiled, even though she had her doubts. That's great. When you guys get here, we'll be waiting with tons of beasts for Sanji to cook. We're out hunting them right now. Only Luffy could tell how much he waited for the moment when everyone would arrive so he could eat those monsters cooked by Sanji. His eyes would turn to stars at the mere thought of it. Yeah, I've already prepared the seasoning, Sanji smirked while lighting his cigarette. We'll see you in a day. Carrot, carrot, carrot. Alright, listen here. Even if it comes down to a fight, follow my lead to hold these Marines back until we receive the call from Luffy's crew. Hancock firmly ordered with her whole crew watching. Yes, Snake Princess. The answer was never late to come from the loyal underlings. Snake Princess. Margaret called out to her princess as she saw her head to her room. What are you planning to do? I'll wait for them to do something. Just let me know if they make any move, the raven-haired woman said before entering her room. She took back her seat, trying to think of a way to deal with those Marines. She placed 2 fingers on her forehead and closed her eyes for a moment. What could she be hiding? Of course that she had felt that there was something odd in Margaret's behavior, but she couldn't tell what. Even so, she had long convinced herself that Margaret was an underling that could really be trusted, and she knew that, if it weren't for Luffy's sake, she would never hide anything from her, so she decided to let it slide, whatever it was. Snake Princess, the Vice Admiral wishes to speak to you. He demands that you stepped outside immediately, said one of the girls on the ship. Oh, this sounds bad. Hancock smirked to herself as she walked out of her room. She wasn't able to come up with a plan, so she had no idea where the upcoming conversation could end. Guess I'll just make it up on the way. Carrot, carrot, carrot. Nami looked up to the sky and was surprised to see the dark clouds that formed. She's been so caught up in the hunting competition that the sudden change of weather went unnoticed by her. It's going to start raining soon, she said while stopping to take a better look at the cloudy sky. We should go find a place to take shelter. I don't think it'll last long, so we'll be able to continue our game after it stops. Not a bad idea, Sabo agreed while dropping the animals he's been carrying. Of course that he and Luffy had to carry the girl's prey too. The score was now even. The teams have caught 3 animals each, but the day was only at the beginning. Asterisk. Hey guys, I think this'll work, Luffy declared. He was standing in the front of a small cave that formed in a huge wall of rock. They were pretty close to the shore now, as they could hear the agitated waves splashing the rocks. It's really tight, Nami said while taking a better look. There's no way we'll all fit in there. It'll get really uncomfortable. Is that so? Well, then, I'll go get a look higher up, the raven-haired boy said while stretching his arm. Not too long after, the 3 remaining on the ground could hear him shouting from somewhere up the wall. I found another one here. And it's a lot larger, too, he said while stretching his arm all the way down, then grinned. I'll give you all a lift up, just take my hand. Nami grabbed his stretched hand with both of her arms and held tight. In just a split second she found herself on the next level of the rocky wall. Luffy looked down again and wanted to stretch his arm, but was stopped by Koala's voice. We'll be fine in here, she declared with a sly smirk. It's spacious enough for 2 people. But this one's really big. We'll fit in just perfectly. Luffy looked at her with an innocent expression. Oh look, it's already started to rain, Sabo said, playing along with Koala's little dirty trick. We'll be soaking wet until we get up there. We'll stay here. But it'll only take a few. Okay now. We'll continue out competition after the rain stops. See you then. Koala laughed while pushing Sabo in the cave. Well, that was weird, Luffy said while tilting his head to the right. I wonder what's gotten into them. Yeah, I wonder too. The orange-haired girl looked away, embarrassed. Of course she knew what the 2 had in mind when leaving her alone with her captain. Her heart was already beating crazy-like at the mere thought of being trapped in a small cave with Luffy again. All this fortunate, or maybe unfortunate, chain of events that kept leading her closer to Luffy only made her desire grow, and she didn't know how much longer she could keep everything in. She said that the rain wasn't going to last long, but she had a hunch that it'll seem like an eternity to her. So, I'll be going on a field trip with my classmates tomorrow and I probably won't be able to post in the upcoming week, which is why I tried my best to post this chapter today. I really hope you enjoy it, guys. See ya next time. Equals greater than. Where stories live. Discover now.